Hi, my name's Traeden Kirby. I go to school at Alice Robertson Junior Tech Academy.
He comes from a long line of Cherokees who traveled the Trail of Tears and settled in and around Stilwell.
My great-grandfather, he actually has a picture of him and his father standing at the old Baptist church, like where the Trail of Tears started.
I guess your family came over on the trail?
Yeah, they came on the trail and they landed in Adair County, and they started out in Westville and lived there, and now they're kind of in Westville and Stilwell, Oklahoma. It means pride. It's just something to be proud of.
Traeden is very proud to be Cherokee. He has aspirations of becoming chief one day. He credits his family for instilling the traditions in him, even at a young age.
I kind of knew I was Cherokee because it was just something we talked about and being proud of our heritage, and I always got told, like, it's good to be Cherokee, and so I knew I was Cherokee. I was raised around weaving baskets and just doing stuff that Cherokee people do, and so I knew what to do, and it was just something I knew.
Traeden is an 8th grader at Alice Robertson Junior High School in Muskogee. He attends classes at the new Tech Academy, which provides an instructional approach centered on project-based learning.
Fourth element of literature. Metaphor draws a comparison between two unlike things. Main form of figurative language used in literature is the metaphor, you are my word.
He is a student who puts a lot of effort toward his studies and does well on his projects. His grades are, he's an AB student, so he's pretty smart. Traeden is very social and likes to interact in his classes and stuff. And Traeden is always working in his groups. And in those groups, he usually takes a leadership role. And I'm very proud of him for doing that. With his family's upbringing in Stilwell and being in Muskogee, he has grown into a young man that's very respectable, well-liked. He's a leader, has plans, he has a vision for his life, and he wants to help his Indian community and his people also. So Traeden has a future ahead of him that is filled with potential.
He also has elective classes, and one of his favorites is art.
As a student, first of all, he's dedicated, passionate in my room. Like, he finds something he likes and he really goes for it. So he's personable, he's helpful with the kids. First of all, I would say he's a compassionate person. He is very knowledgeable in the things that he wants and strives for, so he's dedicated. And I think that he does try to be a good example and a good leader with the other students at all times.
Even though he lives in Muskogee now, he spends lots of weekends with his family in Stilwell, and he likes to help out when he can.
I've been exposed to how to make knutsy, and I love knutsy. And I know how to make fry bread and weave in baskets, and I've been around the language. My great-grandfather, Wayne Lacey, he actually had he made sure his children, his grandchildren, great-grandchildren, all of us knew at least the basics of the language and all about being Cherokee. And he just enjoyed being around family. And so we make sure Cherokee is all about being around family and doing stuff for your family.
Is to live off the words that come from God. Amen. And not bread alone. Now, we like fry bread. Do we not? We like fry bread. But this word, this bread of life, is more important than the fry bread.
He is involved in his church, and he loves participating in his youth group. He and his youth leader even take a little time for traditional things, like making fry bread. Traeden did need a little help from his grandmother, though.
And then put some baking powder in there?
Yeah, then you mix it all to form a dough.
Traeden did a great job. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he did. I have tasted fry bread for women who have cooked for years, and they don't make it as good as his. I just have a few more years' experience over Traeden making fry bread.
Traeden may just be starting out in life, but he certainly has a couple of strong ideas in mind for a lifelong career.
I've always wanted to be either a veterinarian or a preacher. Two different things, but out of those two, that's one of them I want to do. My grandparents, they actually have an Angus farm up in Stilwell. They have lots of Angus cattle, and so that's kind of where I started getting into wanting to be a veterinarian, and I love animals. I have dogs, and so I've always wanted to be a veterinarian. But then I've seen my grandfather preach, and everyone preach, and so I've always wanted to be a preacher too.